Harry's Wife 102.77 William Affair. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. You probably have come across the suggestion and rumours that Prince William was involved in an affair. A little while ago, Prince of Pegging was trending on Twitter as a consequence of the Sussex Squad's attempts to smear Prince William and the Princess of Wales in relation to the allegation that he was involved with another lady, simply because he found the sexual tastes of his wife too boring and that he wanted to indulge in his preferred sexual activity of pegging with someone who was more willing to do so. All of this is errant tripe. However, Spectator has come up with a little tidbit with the column from Coburn, which states, "Blind item, royal attempts to pull sibling affair, chapter from memoir. Little birds have been whispering in Coburn's ear. Rumour has it a well-known member of the royal family is set to release a memoir." Well, we all know that that's the Prince of Pink Pancakes, but the Bucks publication has been pushed back. Some commentators claim that the legal process could be the cause of the back-up, or the fact that the author is scrambling to pull some information out which could be damning for the rest of their family. Sources allege that the book will detail a supposed affair that the author's sibling had. The chapter, which goes in depth on the sordid fling, contains lines similar to, "I can't believe my sibling would treat their spouse like this after what our father did to our mother." After the sibling found out about the bombshell, it has been alleged that they are unable to look the troublesome scribe in the eye. Will the author be able to get the chapter pulled? Only time will tell. This, of course, is reference to Prince Harry's memoir and the suggestion that his brother Prince William has engaged in an affair. What relevance that really has to Harry's life, because it's his brother's life that he's talking about when it's meant to be his memoir, is questionable. It also demonstrates just how infected Harry has become as a consequence of the machinations and manipulations that he's been subjected to by his wife. We all know that Harry and William were tight. They cared for one another, looked out for one another, and that state of affairs persisted even when William was in a relationship with Catherine and became married. He didn't forget about his brother because he has emotional empathy for him. He involved him still. Indeed, the three of them got on exceptionally well. And you could almost see the looks of admiration from Prince Harry towards Catherine, whereby he almost wished, "I wish I could find somebody like you," that he adored his sister-in-law. Perhaps he still does. After all, he did go, "wow," when he saw her in the gold dress, which of course resulted in him suffering considerably, as I've explained about in the reenactment of that event in Parts Passim. Do look it up. That relationship has been cast asunder by the presence of the narcissist. What was previously a good and healthy relationship with the two showing emotional empathy for one another has more or less become destroyed. Who caused that? Harry's wife. Envious of the fact that Catherine is far superior to her in so many ways, and jealous of the fact that Harry would look at her with admiring eyes, the fact that she couldn't have William even though she believes that she should be queen, it meant that, like any typical narcissist, in order to assert control over the all-important intimate partner primary source, which is Harry, she had to distance him from those interfering influences, namely Prince William and the then Duchess of Cambridge. As a consequence of that, by pouring lies into his ear, monopolising his time, looking at little chips and cracks that she could exacerbate, all guided by her narcissism, she then ended up driving a wedge between Harry and his brother and his sister-in-law. Harry then engaged in a course of conduct whereby, because they backed away from him, this then suited the narrative that was being poured in his ear, namely, "See, they don't really like you. See, they're excluding you. Look how they're treating us. Ever since I've come along, they don't want to know you. Is that how they should treat you, just because you're happy? They don't like it because they feel that we outshine them." And all other manipulative lies that have been poured into Harry's ears. subjected to his dim-wittedness and his emotional thinking, rather than him think, well, actually, wait a minute, everything was going well until you turned up. You're the problem. His emotional thinking causes him to believe she's right. They are envious of the fact that we're doing so well and that we're happy, and they're the ones that are trapped. You're right, darling. Thank you for helping me see the light. This then continues to drive a wedge between the two brothers. But it goes further. Because if this report is accurate, it has demonstrated that Harry has been persuaded to turn complete turncoat on his brother. And whether the affair happened or not is in a sense irrelevant. The fact is, Harry has been motivated to speak about it. It's his brother's life. Why isn't he recognising the privacy of his brother, seeing that he and his wife squawk so much about privacy? Of course, that doesn't apply to them too, because they're allowed to talk about everybody else, but you're not allowed to talk about them. The hypocrisy of the narcissist and the hypocrisy of the victim who has swallowed so much of her shit, he can't think straight. However, it's not just William that is suffering in this regard. An article in dailymail.com tells us, written by Caroline Graham, Charles Beware, Pulitzer Prize-winning ghostwriter J.R. Muringer, whose forte is dissecting broken father and son relationships, has just finished Prince Harry's £40 million memoir. It seems to go up in value each time it's mentioned. When tennis great Andre Agassi sat down with a ghostwriter for his memoirs, he had no idea how exhaustive and mentally grueling the process would be. The former Wimbledon champion had faced tough opponents in his time, but the ghost in question, J.A. Muringer, was simply formidable. The writer spent more than 250 hours with the star, and even moved to Las Vegas to be near him. He delved so deeply into Agassi and his family background that the player later compared it to being on a psychiatrist's couch for days at a time. Now the 57-year-old author is putting the finishing touches to what one acquaintance described as the book of his lifetime, Prince Harry's eagerly anticipated potato print tell-all memoir. If Agassi's experience is anything to go by, the Duke of Sussex's book is due to deliver bombshell after bombshell, and on one subject more than any other, father-son relationships and the troubled forms that they can take. No wonder Buckingham Palace is in a state of high alarm, with courtiers said to be asking themselves what, if anything, can be done to stop its publication. As the Mail on Sunday revealed last month, Harry's requested 11th-hour rewrites in the wake of the Queen's death, with a source saying there may be things in the book which may not look so good if they come out so soon after these events. He wants sections changed. It's not a total rewrite by any means. He desperately wants to make changes, but it might be too late. A source who works with the author said J.R. goes deep into family relationships, particularly fathers and father figures. He delivers massive stories. He even got Agassi to admit taking crystal meth. Some have gone so far as to speculate that Harry's memoir will throw King Charles under a bus. It talks more about the process and the nature of the relationships, but the point is this. Harry, again, is being easily led. It might be, of course, that these rewrites are more to do with the pair of them whinging about how they were treated at the funeral. We can only wait and see. Or it is the case that he wants to rewrite because there's certain hot topics in there that he wants to tone down. Or it might be a combination of the two. The point is that based upon this information, his emotional empathy for both his father and his brother are being eroded as a consequence of the pressure to deliver. There is that external stressor, to give up the details in order to earn the money. But as always, there is somebody in the background, or not so much in the background really, encouraging him, driving him forward, because she has to control him. And through him, she can lay her hands on that residual benefit of a lot of money. By ensuring that there's delivery on these memoirs, that they sell, and the advance is earned, and perhaps royalties beyond it, then in the circumstances, what happens is that she gains, because of course Prince Harry's assets are her assets, lack of boundary recognition, sense of entitlement. Dishing the dirt on a supposed affair, and also lambasting his own father, the fact is, whether these details are accurate or not, it demonstrates the lack of boundary recognition that has occurred as a consequence of his diminished emotional empathy caused by the need for money and the puppeting that is going on through his wife. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.